a special guest that's going to be joining me now. He is one of the top transfer portal additions and availabilities this entire offseason. He's now a member of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and he's a guy that I've had on here a couple times before, but therefore it is a blessing to welcome on one of the top scorers in the country from last year, Khalif Battle. Khalif, appreciate you taking time to come on today, man.
Appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, you're now in this adjustment period where you've been at Temple the past couple of years. You now move out and you're at Arkansas. How's the adjustment process been for yourself so far?
It's been great. The people here are really welcoming. Definitely different from back home, but it's been great so far. Getting used to the setting out here. But like this is my first time in a while being at a really like a school atmosphere. From being at Temple, it was more like a city, a lot of sports teams. And here you're the professional team, so it feels good.
So you kind of mentioned though, but you've been on the East Coast pretty much for the majority of your career. Now you're not necessarily on the East Coast. You're more so in the middle of the country now. Have you adjusted to life not being in the big city life type of type of place anymore?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people think I'm a little out there because I'm so used to being from the city and I'm so used to
Yeah.
different things. But I mean, the way of life they live here, people of Arkansas is beautiful. I never seen so many trees. I keep saying that. I never seen so much nature. As soon as I landed here after playing, I saw cows and a lot of farmland. But it was beautiful, and I'm just adjusting to it. And I feel like so far it's been a great experience.
So a couple weeks ago, you were out here in Arizona and you were at the Formula Zero camp. You got to walk us through that because it's not just a camp that you sign up for and you go out or not. It's a select group. 20 players from all college get to go to this. And you're selected, and it's Damian Lillard's camp, obviously one of the best players in all the NBA. And you get to be around him for a couple of days. And you get to mentor and be around some of the upcoming top high school players as well as some of the top college players. For starters, just to get the opportunity to be around Damian Lillard, to get that invitation, what did that mean to you?
It meant the world. I mean, it meant that I was being noticed.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard. So just to be noticed and to be selected for an experience like that, camp like that's a big deal for me. Damian Lillard's been one of my favorite players, definitely growing up my whole life, ever since he entered the NBA. I wasn't really like highly tallied compared to a lot of my other peers. So like seeing somebody like that, um, that wasn't so highly tallied, but snuck up on everybody through hard work, that's somebody I love to, look at. And I admire him for, him just even having a camp like this to bring kids that are similar in his similar situation and try to give them a platform where they can, receive some exposure.
So you're out there and you get to be around Damian Lillard and some of the top players. What was the overall experience like out there?
It was great. The funny thing is, they actually roomed me with a with a Texas A&M player, Wade Taylor,
Yep.
and Arkansas and Texas A&M don't really like each other like that. But that's my guy right there. So, off rip, it was definitely funny. Definitely a great experience. Um, and just being around a lot of those guys, Jameer Nelson, I knew Jameer for a while. Just being around him, Eric Reynolds, I played against him in college, and then seeing like the freshmen this year. A lot of talented guys, a lot of guys who are highly tallied in college. Just to be able to compete and to be able to work out with them and share some camaraderie was a great experience for me.
You mentioned that you're already starting to feel the idea of the rivalry with Texas A&M, and so when you get out there and you're with Wade, and I know Wade's a great guy.
Yeah.
What are those conversations like? Because in just about what will be about 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it is, when you guys possibly go out and then play the game. I'm not sure exactly when it's scheduled.
Yeah.
You guys are going to be going head to head, and I know you guys can get that competitive atmosphere, but that will be a little bit more of an elevated competitive feel.
Yeah.
What were the conversations like with Wade?
Uh, that I know they got the best of Arkansas last year, so I basically told them, this year's a different story. So I mean, everything. The conversations were great though. We didn't really talk too much trash. It was really just just good, just good ordinary like going back and forth. It was healthy, nothing crazy. Just that's my guy though, and just talking to LJ Cryer and all those guys out there too.
Yeah.
They were just sharing their experiences at their universities. I'm sharing my experience here, um, and really it was all love and just it's just funny. We were talking about how basketball could just bring you anywhere. Like who would have
Yeah.
thought? We look at these guys on TV and we think, oh, he's nice, or we see this guy like he's nice, and then we're thinking I'm better than him though, and then And you guys are all in one room, and basically just talking trash to each other, playing around, but it's all love at the end of the day.
So you get to see Damian Lillard. Did you get an opportunity to talk with him one on one? And if so, what would you talk about, and what's some of the advice possibly gave you?
Yeah, I asked him. I talked to him a few times one on one. One time I asked him about some of the drills that I asked him if he was doing these things in college. They have the same team around him in college.
Hmm.
Um, and he was basically saying, like, yeah, he's been doing this since college. Um, and just like he's a very detailed individual. A lot of people
Yeah.
go through drills and they don't really know like what they're doing while they're doing the drills. He kind of breaks it down and usually when I work out, I completely use my imagination from how I've been guarding my whole life, and
Hmm.
he brings it to a whole other level. So just being inside that realm of a basketball study, I would like to call it, was great. And then one time we was in um well, it was two other times. One time I made him laugh. He was laughing really hard about something I said. I forgot what I said, but uh, we was in the theater room and everybody kept asking him all these serious questions. And I'm like, dang, he's probably tired of all these serious questions. So I just asked him, like, I said, yeah, everybody's asking these serious questions. I just want to know who's your all-time California starting five. And everybody loved my question because he couldn't answer the question. He stopped at like he couldn't find a three and a four. I know he said Jason Kidd, James Harden, and is Will Chamberlain where's Will Chamberlain from? Or no, Bill Russell's from Bill Russell. It was Bill Russell. Bill
Yeah.
Russell. It was those three guys, but he couldn't find out a three and a four. So everybody, all the camp counselors and all the NBA guys came up to me out there like, man, that was a great question because all those guys were asking serious questions. I had to lighten the room up a little bit.
He does have a unique workout because obviously I got an opportunity to go see with him working out with Phil Beckner once, and he typically has a unique thing, like you kind of mentioned there. He doesn't necessarily goes out there and works out for 2 hours per se. It
Yeah,
usually is about a 40 or so minute workout, but it's at a speed and a level that 99.999% of people cannot possibly work out at. It's an
yeah,
elite level speed, and that's the way he typically works. I'm sure he's done longer workouts before, but that's typically his go-to, at least with Phil Beckner.
yeah.
When you look at that, how do you, maybe even how have you so far applied that into your workout strategies?
I think it's more game realistic. I
Yeah.
think you could be in a gym all day, going through the motions, but unless you go game speed, it's not really going to translate. And
Hmm.
I learned that. I kind of learned that at a young age because a lot of times when I shoot, people think I shoot crazy shots, but I'm really like a gym rat. Like I can't emphasize that enough. Like I don't really talk about it. People look at my Instagram and they probably think I'm always outside and all that, but I literally would be in the gym all day. I'm in love with getting better. I watch film all the time. Um, I choose my friends very wisely because a lot of my friends that I grew up with know that I'm obsessed with basketball. Like last night, I mean, it was an off day for us, but we had a lake day, and most people will probably go in the house and be tired after lake day. We went tubing and all that. I think it was 1 o'clock in the morning. I went to the gym, got about 710 makes in. Um,
Mm.
so was in there until about 2:30. Then got home, and then I figured I'd go to sleep, wake up in the morning, get another workout in. So it's just nonstop because in my mind I always feel like somebody's always out there working out, and Phil Beckner's been on my butt just to say the least about about my about who I want to be later in life. Do you want to be a G League guy or an NBA guy? And I don't want to be
Mm.
one of those guys that's a G League guy. Not taking anything away from them because they work extremely hard as well. But
Yeah.
it's the difference between being good and great, and I'm just trying to chase greatness, and I don't want to just make it to the NBA. I want to stay in there for a long time. So whatever tools any veteran or anybody who's been in that position can give me, I take it. Whether it's comes at me any type of way, I just try to embrace anything somebody can say to me.
You just mentioned you guys had a tubing day. I know Arkansas coach Muss and the team, they do some fun stuff, especially in the offseason. I'm not sure you guys are going to do that during the season, but especially during the offseason, you guys do some fun stuff.
Yeah,
What has that been like? Because some people, we might see the clips on Instagram and whatnot, but we ultimately only know coaches for what they do on the court. We might get an interview here or there. We see what they do post-game conferences, but we don't get to obviously see what their life is like off the court. So you get to experience that. You guys probably do some fun things. What has that been like so far?
it's been great. I mean, I'm from Jersey. We don't have lakes out there. I don't go
Yeah.
like that. I don't get in the water. If I go to the beach, I'll stay on the sand or go walk on the boardwalk. I don't do all that. But I saw how much fun the team was having, so I decided to go out my comfort zone and try something new. I
Hmm.
went Cuban. Um, Definitely not the best moment for me. I fell off the tube a couple times. The water was going through my nose and a whole bunch of other things. I posted on the Instagram. I think Chandler Lawson posted a picture of me, like my face after I was going through it. I was laying on a boat afterwards, dead. Um, but it was great. But people don't know, like Coach Muss is an intense guy.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that about him, but ultimately he cares about his guys and he wants everybody to have fun while working hard. So for him and the Hump family to allow us to have a trip to the boat, use their boats for a lake trip is it's a beautiful thing, and that just goes into the character around the people that we have here at Arkansas. All high
Hmm.
character people that just they want to win, but they also want to make sure you're having a good time and having fun at it.
So would you say you're going to retire now from tubing, or is that a one-time thing, or are we possibly going to try that again sometime in the future?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody can talk me into going tubing again. I definitely still on the boat, but tubing is a little excessive.
So going back to the mentality aspect about yourself, and I've always respected that. I know we talked a couple years ago when you were in midway through your first year out there at Temple. But would you say that mentality has been something that you personally, maybe even your brother a little bit, has kind of helped groom you into? Would you say you give some credit out there to just growing up in the New Jersey mindset, or what's kind of inspired you to have that mentality of I'm going to outwork whoever it is, wherever you are?
Yeah, I think I definitely I always give a lot of credit to Jersey, how it
Yeah.
is, and the crop of talent that's out there. But I can't discredit my family and my friends.
Hmm.
Always keeping me focused on what's important. I made tons of mistakes. There's kids out there that make tons of mistakes. I was one of those kids that make tons of mistakes, character wise, and I'm holding myself accountable to. We're maturing still. I matured a lot, but really it's just like I never not been a gym rat.
Yeah.
Um, so my grandma wrote a ball out for me and locked me in the gym when I was a kid, while she was a janitor cleaning middle schools, and I stuck with it. And every single time times get hard, I think of her, of how hard she worked cleaning schools, how hard my mom worked being a waitress, how hard my dad worked for me, how hard my uncles and everybody and my friends found a way. Um, if I didn't have any money or if I didn't have food, whatever the case may be, everybody made sure I was good, and they just kept
Mhm.
me in the gym. When I'm not going to be doing anything else, they always kept me in the gym. So they invested in me. So the least I could do is give them my all on the basketball court, and invest in myself. So one day I can pay it forward for me.
We talked last time about your brother, and he had an incredible collegiate career, has now played pro. And at that point in time, you were still saying, you guys go back and forth one on one. You might get him sometimes, but you still have a little bit of an age gap on you there. But you've now grown a little bit more. You matured as a player. Where do you think those one on one games are at these days?
What's my phone sound right now? The phone, the one on ones. He definitely has the majority of the wins, but he definitely has to play his hardest. Like the last time we played, right before he went out to, he's in China now.
Hmm.
He beat me by a game. We played King of the Court series. He won 3-2. I was pissed off throwing the ball everywhere. But he won. He was definitely hitting some. He definitely fouls a lot. He fouls a lot, and I don't call fouls. He calls fouls, and on top of that, he makes like the craziest shots that shouldn't even go in. Like he makes like he'll like turn around twice and throw it up. The ball goes in. So I think that's just the basketball guys just saying like, okay, like we're gonna make sure older brother stays older brother for now, but your time is coming. So I take it. I don't take it too well, but it just humbles me. It makes me just work harder.
So you think the big brother winning style is ever going to lose up a little or lead up a little bit?
Yeah, my junior year before he went to overseas, I beat him though.
Okay.
I know he was waiting for that for like to get his get back for a long time because he had to go over there. And but I think that if we play now, I think it's a totally different story. But I said that every single time. But I really feel like I'm gonna get him.
Well, I wanted to hop into your faith a little bit because I do know you're a believer, and you did an interview a little bit ago with Will Whitson, and there was one quote that he just posted a little bit ago that I really appreciate. I love seeing that because you talked about who's someone that you look up to, and you said you don't really look up to any guy because ultimately you look up to God because men and women all sin, and that's a fact. I know that we could definitely see different people and maybe take some things from that person or whatever, but at the end of the day, we're all imperfect people. and we're ultimately all just children of God, and He's the only perfect one.
Mhm.
So I want to kind of kind of explain that a little bit deeper, though.
Yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of people that living or past that I admire, what they've done at a strong capacity. But I can't say that I want to be or I look up to one man. I definitely put God first. Um, I was that kid that was writing proverbs on his headboard. I had a wooden headboard. I used to write proverbs and all that, and read them at night. Um, I don't really know why I was doing it, but my parents, I know my mom used to take me to church. And at first I was one of those kids. I was like, we gotta go to church today and all that. But then I grew to my strong belief in God, and I seen a lot of. He gave me a lot of signs. I feel like in life, um, and it could have my life could have went in a lot of different directions, but God has always found a way for me personally. Every night before I go to bed, especially I started this, I want to say a month and a half ago, where I wasn't going to ask God for anything for the whole month of July. I was just going to read the Bible every single night.
Mm,
Um, and in doing so, I feel like my relationship has even grown that much stronger.
mm,
And I feel like as humans, we often ask for a lot, but how much are we really trying to take a step forward to learn about God? It's like asking a friend for things. Always that's kind of being a bad friend. So I
yeah.
wanted to definitely learn more about God and the true essence of why everything is for the most part for the way it is. So I read the whole book of Proverbs again for the month of July, and at the end of the month, it's crazy. God sent me a sign. I flipped to the next page, last day of July, and the book of Proverbs was over.
Mm.
So it's like I didn't plan it like that. It just happened like that. But I read the Bible every single night before I go to sleep. I make that a mandatory thing. So do that with all the distractions we have in the world. You got to get some time to the Lord and Creator.
As we learn, there's going to be ups and downs in life. And even though we are believers, it's not that we just have a guaranteed easy way through life. There's not going to be trials and tribulations. And you've obviously had a fair share of that between injuries, between different situations that might have occurred, especially last year or whatnot. Like there's not always just going to be ups and highs in life. So as you've gone through the ups and downs of life and on and off the court, how have you been able to stay connected and stay strong in your belief and your relationship and your love for Jesus?
Um, I mean, it's definitely. I mean, the biggest word is definitely faith. Faith is not an easy thing. People can say like, I have faith in this, I have faith in that, but faith will definitely test you
Mm-hmm.
a million ways. I mean, my freshman year of college, going in my and really majority of my sophomore year, I was depressed. And people can't use that word, but I was like deeply, deeply, deeply depressed. I wasn't happy. I wasn't acting like myself. Um, And I told my mom I used to break down the corner. Like my head wasn't right. I don't know what was going on. I had some people that were really close to me die. Bathroom wasn't working out. School wasn't working. I felt like everything was going like everything that I worked hard for just being thrown out the window. And at the time, I kept asking, "Why God? Why God? Why God? Why is this happening?" And I pray all the time, "Why is this happening?" And God was just testing my faith. He wanted to see if I was going to fold, if I was going to turn the other way. And it was just like a sign. Like I remember my sister called me, and I was used to always like be sad. Like why nobody checks on me? Why does nobody why am I going through this? And she called me one day, and she never. My sister usually never called me. By the way, she called me one day, she's like KK. She's like KK, you okay? I'm like, yeah. Why? She said, no, I'm just worried about you. I'm like, why? She said, I don't know. I'm just worried about you. I'm just checking on you. And then she
Mm-hmm.
just told me she loved me, and then that was the conversation that right there. And then from that day, it was just like a instant progression on life. And I felt like God sent a sign through my little sister who I love so much. You know what I'm saying? So um, every day I just take it one step at a time, and I try. And I felt like it was a lesson to not focus on the future or not focus on the past failures or past regressions, just to focus on right now in the present moment, because that's all you can control. You know what I'm saying? So I've been at peace more than anything, and I feel like it elevated my basketball game and it elevated myself as a person. You know.
I know that when we read the Bible, there's constantly places that we learn about how there's going to be trials and tribulations, but that the perseverance will allow us to be able to sustain things long term. It's going to help us become complete, and we're not going to need anything else because ultimately it's going to help God get us through as long as we rely upon Him.
Right.
So a lot of people that don't obviously know the word might be confused by that. But people might see believers and say, well, how are they still staying strong even up to the trials and tribulations? But would you say now that if you've gone through that tribulation and the next and so on and so forth, that you've now seen yourself grow and become a stronger and better person, both spiritually, but also just as a person?
So yeah,
Mm,
tons of bad things have happened to me. But I always remember that somebody always has a worse.
mm,
How can I react about something? I know there's people out there that are born handicapped. There's people out there. Like I got people in my family born handicapped. I got people that I see all the time that are born without parents, that are born without family. That are, you know what I'm saying? So it's like
yeah.
I'm lucky. I mean, I go through a lot of stuff just like anybody would, and I never feel like I'm greater than somebody or below somebody. Um, I just feel like I think we're all here to help each other. I don't want to be hostile to nobody. I hope nobody's hostile to me.
Hmm.
Um, I donate on the low as much as I can because I know there's a lot of people that have way less than me. I know I'm blessed, um, and I know God, gave me an opportunity to do something in life. I strongly believe that, and I strongly know that when my blessings and all that comes to me when the time is right. Of course, I know that I'm gonna give. To give back would be to say the least. I want to help
Hmm.
as many people as I can. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want anything. Look, I don't want anything to come back. I just want to do it at the kindness of my heart. Because ultimately, there's kids out there that wish they could play basketball, that get up every single day, that have problems, or the parents have problems, and they're working hard. And we do this basketball thing. Us athletes, we do this basketball thing to provide for our families or whatever case may be, because it's fun. But God blesses us with talent, so the least we could do is work hard. But if we're talking about like hard things that happened in my life, tons. I mean, tons of
Hmm.
things, countless things that people don't even know about. But that's just, for me, that's just life. And God's gonna put you in situations that you just gotta handle. But just know that you gotta have storms to create a garden. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So without rain, without rainy days, you can't have a beautiful garden. So I just take it.
Amen.
You know,
So I want to get into your Temple career a little bit because it was filled with ups and downs that I kind of alluded to a couple of times. And when we first talked, you were in the middle of the COVID season where things were going a little bit wild. You guys had games canceled. It was chaotic. We know how that all went down, but you still had a pretty darn good overall season, at least your very first year out there. And because your first year at Butler obviously was filled with ups and downs as well. So you go out there and you just get an opportunity. Take us through a little bit more about that season, though, because you get the first time in your collegiate career actually having an opportunity to go out there and play and do your thing to some extent. What was that first year like?
my sophomore year at Temple, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, my sophomore year it was like I mean, the crazy thing is I want to say 3 days before the first game, I pulled my hamstring.
Mm,
So, and it was my first time ever really like being like kind of hurt in my basketball career. So, I missed a lot some games. Got cleared a day before we played against Tulane, so I couldn't even work out. So I didn't. I haven't touched a basketball in about 2 months now. There's always a stop and go with COVID, and I played in a Tulane game. I think I played. Coach plays me like probably like I want to say like 27 minutes. I'm dead tired. I'm
hmm.
ready to throw up at halftime. Like there's a lot of stuff going on, and then um, I want to say the following game. I think we played the following game. I think we played Houston the first
Hmm.
time. I had about 14, got blown out, was heated because we were losing. And then the next game after that, I had like 21 and 10. So then I started picking up kind of fast. Um, but it was like, I mean, that season was just a whole bunch of down and ups. As I said before, I was also not in the right headspace.
Yeah.
I was sad about so many other things. Um, but I prayed every single night. I knew there was a brighter day coming. Um, so I mean, it was definitely a lot of trials and tribulations. But I mean, that's what you work hard for, and nobody has it perfect. So I couldn't really complain about it, and I was just blessed. It was way better playing than being out. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
blessed with the opportunity to be out there. Um, whether I was coming off the bench or starting, it really didn't matter. I was just happy to just play basketball.
So a unique thing about you is that throughout your Temple career, you came off the bench over half the games. You 26 to 45.
Mhm.
And I think it's more than fair to say that you were the best player on that team. Damian Dunn's another great player as well, but you would typically see the guy that's a leading scorer, one of the go-to players is typically the starter, especially at the collegiate level at least. You took on this six-man role and you did a great job in it. But how did you deal with that? Was that something that you were okay with? Was it something that you had to learn to deal with a little bit? Or how did you take on that role?
I mean, ultimately, I mean, if you, I'm competitive, so I never really wanted to come off the bench, but
Sure.
you also can't be a distraction to the team and be like, this, that, the third.
Hmm.
But I knew that when I came in there, I was going to play my game. I can't give my coaches and my teammates enough credit for just allowing me even come off the bench or starting just to let me be myself as much as I could possibly be, while still benefiting the team. My teammates put a lot of trust in me to make big shots, along with Damian Dunn. Um, but I mean, that's just I mean at the next level. However they need me to play, if I gotta guard the best player and shoot two shots a game, come off the bench, I'm willing to do whatever if it means winning. Because ultimately, that's what people remember me by is winning. I didn't win as much as I would like to at Temple,
Hmm.
um, but I learned a lot of things. Um, I took on a role that I would like to say could possibly be a role for me at the next level. So I mean, you know, it all happened the way it should have went.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I can't really complain about it. All I could do is just learn from things that didn't go well, and be thankful for the things that didn't go well and went well. So
People that don't completely know your game, haven't watched you a ton, might not know the fact that you're a guy that's capable of scoring 20 points per game. Now, necessarily will that happen when you go to the SEC level and you just have a lot of the great players? I'm not sure if the time will tell, but that's something that you have in your bag. You're more than capable of being a guy that goes out and gets 20 plus. We saw that before you got hurt in your second year out there at Temple. You're averaging 21.4, I think, or something like that, points per game in those 7 game span. And still, you're averaging 17, 18 points per game last season. When you talk about the level in which you're capable of scoring in 40-minute games at the collegiate level, how have you become such a bucket getter?
practice, 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 reps, reps, reps. All I do is really reps, reps, reps.
Hmm.
And honestly, I feel like a lot of it is mental training. I think you got to train your mind. Because it's nice. I mean, I remember one time last year, I think I was like one for no, I was 3 for like 15 from three. I
Hmm.
remember Dame got ejected, Jalil got ejected. So everybody's looking at me like, hey, like we gotta win this game. Like we can't lose the toast right now. So what's going on? So I'm having one of my worst nights shoot. I'm in a slump. I was a stretch where I was probably like it was a struggle for me to get 14, 15 points in the game. But it don't matter to me. Like I know at the end of the day I know how hard I work. Nobody can tell me anything else. People would say bad things about my shot selection or this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, all the people that's talking, they're not in the gym with me rebounding. They're not in the gym helping me. When I'm having bad days, they're not there for me. When I'm having great days,
Yeah.
they're going to write whatever they're going to write. So at the end of the day, it's about self belief. And I think sky's the limit. I never put a cap on how much I can score, and I never ever think I can't score. In my mind, I can score on anybody. Um,
Hmm.
I don't care who's in front of me. I'm attacking them the same way I would attack anybody, and just high confidence. And I think my teammates everywhere I've been, I always prove that, and I think I'll continue to do that anywhere I'll go because I just know who I am. So
So how about the role at Arkansas so far? I know it's not games yet, and you guys still get that kind of established overall the first part of the season, training camp and whatnot.
yeah.
But just so far from what you guys have seen, just open runs, whatever it is, do you expect yourself to be a guy that could be one of the go-to scorers, be a guy that takes on a six-man role? Like, what can we kind of expect so far out of maybe what you kind of have an idea of heading into the season?
I don't know like about starting or coming off the bench or whatever the case
Hmm.
may be. Um, I know I'm going to play,
Yeah.
um, but I mean, Coach Musk brought me here to be myself. You know,
Yep.
shoot the ball, defend at a high level. You're not going to say nothing to me. Run the floor hard. Be a good kid in the locker room. All the things I already do. Just shoot the ball, play hard, defend, and he's fine. So, I mean, he brought me here to be myself.
Yeah.
I chose to come here because of Coach Musk, and I know he wanted me here. Pretty strongly. So, I know he saw a lot of things that I can improve on, that I work hard at. And I know I do a lot of things that he also likes also. So I just do what I'm meant to do.
I want to go into your last season last year at Temple, and that was a year that had some ups and downs as well. But you go into that season and you still were recovering a little bit from your fractured foot. I know I've read a little bit about how you only got to start practicing. I think it was 10 or so days before the season or something like that.
Yeah,
And so obviously it's not easy. You don't have the full training camp, the whole summer experience. You don't have all of that to get ready for the season. And you
yeah,
still on paper have a pretty decent year, but I know you even talked about what probably wasn't your best. But what kind of were your thoughts on last season?
I thought it was a terrible season for myself, honestly.
Mm.
I think anytime I shoot in the 30s, if I go work out, and I know if I have the summer, I think the last time I had the summer was my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
You saw, everybody saw how I came out. I'm very confident in myself. I track all my makes. I track my misses. If I'm not shooting at least 85% or up in a workout from three or any case will be wide open, I'm pissed off all day, and I'm gonna be in there shooting all night until I get it back on track. A little bit, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Sometimes, in the past, that definitely got me in trouble because
Mm-hmm.
I would just be so obsessed with, trying to be perfect, trying to be the best. But now I just, know that I'm human. I'm gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have great days. You're gonna have bad days. Steph
Yep.
has them. Everybody has them. So, you know, it is what it is. But I think last year was definitely a disappointment for me as the motivation. I think a lot of people in Philly or around that area definitely wrote me off also, um, especially after the season, after the transfer also.
Yeah.
Um, Especially reporters or people who I thought we was cool with or whatever the case may be. A lot of people said things that weren't true about me and about, they talk about how piss poor I played or how I'm a bad team or whatever the case may be. But I just kept the receipts. I've been staying off of social media. I'll stay off of Twitter. I stay off all that. And then, when the time comes, I just can't wait to, prove why, I feel like I'm one of the best players in the country, hands down. Um, and why any team will want to will want to have somebody like me. So
I was going to ask about that because that's can't imagine it's the easiest thing per se to deal with when you have countless people and pretty much a whole fan base for the most part. I'm not going to say everyone probably, but for the most part, going at you and obviously he's probably not saying the nicest of things to say the least. And
yeah.
also you have reporters and so on and so forth. How do you personally deal with that though? Because you go through it and you're on your phone the off season, whatever the case may be. They don't know the ins and outs of what all went down. How do you deal with that?
I mean, it was tough at first because, like, people say perception is everything.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end of the day, I just remember, I just remember like the people who invest in me, the people who love me, people who I go to at night, the people I care about, the people I love. As long as they're happy, they know who I am. I mean, I can't really. I sleep good at night. You know what I'm saying? I know I
Mm.
can't make everybody happy.
Yeah.
I know the person I am at the end of the day. You know, even Jesus got ridiculed. And
Yep.
not to compare myself to Jesus, of course, but like, if Jesus can get ridiculed, anybody can get ridiculed. So it's like one day somebody will love you, one day somebody will hate you. At the end of the day, they don't even know you. So you got to know who you are. Like it always goes back to faith for me. Um, as long as I have a great relationship with God, and I know I'm a good person, everything else will handle itself. I just wish people would get to know me before they judge me because
Mm.
people would be surprised about who I am instead of what people have said about me in the past or people perceive me to be. And people who don't even know me be saying stuff like it's just crazy, but it's cool. Like I said, I keep the receipts.
Mm-hmm.
I still wish nothing but love for them, but when the time is to come, I just want to make them look like they're fools for what they were saying about me, and it'll happen though.
Now, I have to imagine that there was at least one high note last season because you guys have a pretty significant upset last season. You guys go beat number one team in the country,
Yeah.
Houston. You got to walk us through that game a little bit.
That was one of the worst games I actually played in my life, and
Yeah.
that was one of the worst games I ever played in my life. But I was trying to guard. I was just trying to do all the little things. I think the ball was in the basket. I'm like, man. So, you know, that's why you got teammates. I was proud of my guys. I know they were definitely focused on me running me off the line and clocking the paint for me. If they ran me off the line, I'll drive and I'll see like three white jerseys running at me. So
Yeah.
I had to get off of it. I take a lot of bad shots, but we lived and we died by it. And we got the win. I mean, Dame came up clutch.
Yep.
I think our defense was great.
Mm-hmm.
I think we matched their physicality for sure. Core John Cooch, my guy, with a crazy block at the end. Make sure he
Mm-hmm.
sealed the deal. I was joking around with T Mark, who's now my teammate, about that last second shot that he was able to get off. That was a great play by Coach Samp. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy he missed it though. But we got that win. It was a great moment for us. Um, I just wish we could have kept it going a little more. I think it showed the amount of talent we had as a team. But things happen. Can't get it back, but you just learn from it. And it was a great moment.
So on the end of last season, then you end up leaving the team, and that's following the Wichita State game. And I know that's part of the reason some people are always talking about whatever they were saying online. What exactly kind of was going on at that point in time, and what kind of just gave you the idea to say, I need to take a step back and reevaluate, whatever the case might have been for yourself?
Yeah, so I didn't. The thing is, I didn't leave the team. Like I didn't. I never
Mm,
left the team. Um, things happen that I can't really explain or get into.
sure.
Um, I didn't exchange any words with anybody. I wasn't disrespectful to anybody. I didn't get in any altercations with anybody. You
Mm,
know, certain people thought it was, for the betterment of the team, which I didn't understand.
yeah.
So, I lived with it. It was definitely hard for me. It made me seem like I was a terrible guy or locker room trouble. It's like I can't make it up. I get shunned. I don't understand why. It's like I'm always playing defense, but it's okay. Like now, I would say if anyone wants to talk to Coach Muss or Arkansas guys about the person I am, I think they'll say great things about me. You
Yeah.
know, what I'm saying? I don't have any problems with anybody, and it's still love for everybody at Temple. I mean, people can be hasty to me, um, but I know that there's always a better day, and I'm doing great over here. There's great people over here. Um, they reward me. They understand my hard work, and they make sure that I'm happy, and they care. They actually care about my happiness, and they care about the team's happiness. It's never about one person; it's about the team. Um, and I have a bunch of guys that want to get better. Which um, I can't really say I had that like as much before,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been great. It's been great. And I have a great relationship. It's funny because I have a great relationship with my Butler guy. I talk to my coaches from Butler all the time. They
Mm,
love me. It's just the fact that I sacrificed 3 years for a university and for a team that I care so much about. Didn't go home during the summer. I mean, I go back home. I don't even recognize my sister no more because she looks all old. I don't get to see
mm-hmm.
my brother, my mom as much as I want to. And then for them to end my career at Temple, for people to end my career at Temple like that, it really hurt my heart. Truth be told, but you
Yeah.
can't change the past, but it is what it is.
You kept your recruitment a little bit under low key, and I know the only thing we really knew was UCF, and all of a sudden, all of these different media people were saying it's 100% crystal ball, where he's going to UCF, whatnot. But you obviously are at Arkansas now. Well, can you kind of take us through this recruiting process? Because I know you were highly sought after. What people at least knew of was that UCF was in the mix. Obviously, Arkansas is there, UCLA, Villanova, Arizona, Memphis, Florida, Louisville. The list goes on and on.
Mhm.
What exactly was your recruitment? Was there a top one, two, three schools, or what exactly all went down during that process for yourself?
The recruitment was crazy. I was like, it got a little overwhelming. Where I was just like, I'm gonna let my dad and my uncle deal with this. I can't deal with it no more.
Mm-hmm.
But they told me at the end of the day, like it's a blessing because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you're gonna be in a better opportunity than you were previously. Um, so I mean, it was great. I mean, for me, it was definitely tricky to see where I was going to end up. Coach Musk called me every single day
Mm.
personally. Like usually, a lot of coaching staffs they have like assistant coach call you whatever. But Coach Musk, it was every single coach and him. Sometimes he'll call me 2, 3 times a day.
Mm.
So we were really getting to know each other. Coach Bill Self called a lot. I really appreciate his words of wisdom. I didn't go there. He definitely was he's a basketball guru. So just picking his brain um, during the recruitment process. He was heavily targeting me. Um, LSU, Coach Dawkins at UCF, great guy. Um, I mean, it's hard for me to name all the schools, but a lot of schools, you know, they contacted me, but ultimately it came down to my relationship with the coaching and who I feel like I could trust the most, and being able to accept what people were known as like baggage, I guess.
Mm.
Coach never judged me. Coach must never judge me. Never believed in it. Neither did Coach Bill Self either. A lot of coaches didn't believe what they heard about me. because they asked people who actually knew me, and they those people had great things to say about me.
Hmm.
Um, so, but Coach Muss was just over the top accepting and didn't care about it. And what drew me to Coach Muss is that people said that he was crazy and all these other things about him, and I wouldn't call it crazy than what he is. He's so passionate about winning,
Yeah.
and I feel in love with that. Like so, people would say how he is crazy. He's this, he's that. And we would try to call him names and all that. People I used to ask about how's Coach Musselman. People would say crazy things, but getting to know him, meeting him face to face, talk to him on the phone every day. Um, I couldn't have asked for a better coach. I couldn't have asked to be coached by a better human.
Mm.
Um, so I give him all the praise. And I mean, I could say like I chose to go to Arkansas because of these different things, but I can't discredit. It was Coach Muss the reason why I'm there, 100%. So
So pretty much then for you, it was down to pretty much two schools. It was KU then and Arkansas.
KU, Arkansas, UCF, LSU.
Okay.
Kind of those schools. I hope I'm not missing anybody else. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody else, but yeah, but those two were kind of at the top
Sure.
schools I was really thinking of. Um, but yeah, definitely Coach Muss all the way.
All right, so you mentioned something that I do want to go into because you said Coach Muss was the one that called you, and it was 2, 3 times. And I think he's already become pretty famous for this because when the portal starts, he gives offers and talks or whatever it is to tons and tons and tons of guys. And that's not an easy job. Sometimes people are like, how the heck is this possible? This guy's recruiting, or some way, shape, or form, recruiting like 90 some dudes or something like that.
Right.
When you hear a coach that is somehow grinding on the phone and getting through all this different stuff at a high level, of getting guys that from all over the country, whatever, is to put together a new roster year in, year out,
Mhm.
what is it like just talking to him? And what's Coach Muss's personality like in the recruitment stage?
Well, I mean, people don't know this, but like Coach Muss don't call everybody. The
Okay.
people on staff that definitely would definitely reach out to players
Mm-hmm.
and discuss like interests. But Coach Muss himself doesn't talk to everybody. So like I mean like as soon as the thing uploaded, I got a Twitter notification like, okay, about this is the transfer portal. I want to say maybe 20 seconds after that, I gotta call Coach Muss. He read the board of plane. They about to go to the tournament. I think he's going to the Ames. I think he's going to Iowa. And he called me. He was like, he said, KB, it's Coach Musselman from Arkansas, man. You ready to get this thing going? I was cracking up. I was cracking up because it was literally like 20 seconds into it, and I got a text from the whole coaching staff. Um, and then it was like that every single day. It was like that every single day. And then at first I kind of had my question like, I'm like, are they contacting everybody? And I talked to Coach Muss about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, he said, his words was exactly, KB, I'm trying to win a national championship. So
Fair enough.
if you got a problem with, people, me reaching out to people or my staff reaching out to people, then, you know, I'm talking to you. You my guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk to everybody. A couple guys
Mm-hmm.
on the team we need. Like we got some big time recruits. Um, and honestly, I don't know if I come here without, Tremont. I don't know if I come here without, I don't know if I come here without, adding pieces because I mean, what a story would be to, come from Temple and the situations that happened there,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden, you look up and you in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Nobody can take anything away. So right now, just putting your head down to work, and I love Muss. I can't say it enough. Um, Forget being a basketball coach. He's a great guy,
Yeah.
and you don't hear no kids from Jersey going to Arkansas. So I told him he definitely has to get more Jersey guys. But just as a human, he's a great human being, and I'm happy he's my coach.
Once again, this is an entirely pretty much new look team, and he does this year in, year out. Last year was a lot of freshmen. You have Nick Smith, you have Jordan Wash, you have all these different guys, Anthony Black. This year, he has the freshmen. Obviously, you've got Layden, you've got Bay Fall, which are both great players. But yeah, I think he emphasized the portal a little bit more. I know he wants more veterans in there, and you guys still return Devo and Jalen, Trevon, and company. But you guys add in yourself, L. You have a lot of different guys that come in alongside you guys and have this core group now that's being built. Walk us through this a little bit because you guys now have an interesting looking team. And once again, everyone's looking at it like, okay, we know there's talent here. We know these guys can play. We know these guys got talent. How's it all going to come together? I know Muss will probably figure it out, but from just so far, the midway through or getting ready to go to the training camp time, how do you feel about the roster?
I mean, it's like it's war every day in practice because
Mm.
it's either gonna play, or you're not gonna play. So it's like um, everybody's like, honestly, it feels like a professional team where you're fighting for spots,
Yeah.
and you're competing every day. But honestly, at the end of the day, it's like everybody's getting better, and that's the beautiful part about it. Um, I I feel like you can't beat experience, so bringing in older guys is kind of like it's kind of like a big deal now. It's kind of for coaches that from what I heard in the portal, they rather have older guys because they have experience rather than young guys, so they gotta build up and they gotta
Yeah.
learn the ropes and gotta get a few games under their belt, but they get comfortable, whatever case may be. So I mean, I don't know how it is for coaches that rather have freshmen.
Hmm.
Um, there's great freshmen out there that could play, but I just firmly believe you can't really beat experience. It's kind of different being 18 and being like 22 or 23, whatever the case may be. So these transfers coming in, Al, um, JD, and countless other guys, Tremont. Um, I think them us meshed up with Devo and TB Tremont Brazil and JG and Makai and all these other guys. I think it just blends well.
Hmm.
Their toughness and all that is unmatched. And I think we saw how good they were last year before they had a whole bunch of injuries.
Yeah.
At the start of the season, they're a great team, and now you're adding older guys on top of that with experience. So I think it just gets better. Hopefully.
How what's the expectations for this team though for you personally? Because like you said, the ceiling. I don't know if there really is a ceiling for you guys because you guys have so much talent on the team. Obviously, could you guys win a national championship? I don't think anyone would necessarily doubt that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your expectations for how good this team can be this season?
The expectations. I mean, coach always talks about how bad he wants to get to the Final Four and the opportunity to play and win the national championship.
Hmm.
And that's my mindset every single day. I think that's a lot of the other guys' mindsets. When Debo announced that he was coming back, I texted him, "Yo, let's go for this national championship."
Yeah.
He was on board 1,000%. I think a lot of guys that's here are on board. We're trying to win a national championship. I mean, I think we have the best coach in America.
Mm.
Coaching college basketball, um, and an NBA guy, so he has a lot of experience. And I think the coaching staff also does a tremendous job of preparing us for any battle we're about to face. Um, and they just keep us in the gym, and guys love being in the gym already. So right now, I mean, it looks great. From the other places I've been, it looks great. But we're not going to know how great we're really going to be until we start playing.
Yeah.
So
So a part about your game that honestly I knew you were athletic and I knew you had a little sneaky athleticism, but there was a video you retweeted a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, where I'm not gonna lie, I did not know you had some of those dunks in your bag. I didn't know you were that athletic. So take us to that aspect about your game because I don't think too many people are as familiar that with people know you're able to shoot, people know you're able to score, people know you're pretty athletic. But I mean, we saw you going between the legs dunking. We saw you doing 360 layups in that video. Walk us through your game a little bit and what Arkansas fans can expect from you this season.
uh, just to I want to be known as a winner, more
Mm.
importantly. But definitely, I think I can score. I think I can score all three levels. Really good shooter. I think I'm a really good on-ball defender. Got to get better off-ball, which I am definitely getting better at because coach won't let me get away with anything like than being great on the defensive end. Um, but just coaches teach me about being an all-around player, rebounding, playmaker. Learn a lot of NBA principles along with different college principles. But I mean, what you see, I think what you see is just a scoring playmaker, three level, and a guy who plays hard, and a guy who just wants to win, um, and a good defender and a team guy. And yeah, that's really what you're getting, just a team first guy and just somebody who just to win every single night.
Due to your injuries and red shirts in COVID year, I do know that you have 2 years of eligibility technically still available. I know that the goal in your back of mind, as you already mentioned a few times, is playing in the NBA. So I'm sure if that's an opportunity, we'll see you take that. But is playing 2 years at Arkansas something that's on the table for you? Are you going to consider that, or is this pretty much a 1 year you're done, you want to move on after this?
1,000%, I'll come back to Arkansas
Mm,
if I'm not ready for the NBA. And to
okay.
be honest, I talked to coach before he even coming here. I mean, coach was talking about the NBA with me, but I told him like I'm just focused on I just want to be one of the best. I just want to be known as one of the best players, if not the best, two guard in or combo guard in college basketball.
Okay.
Um, that's the goal. And if that takes another year after that, then so be it. But I'm not in no rush. I'm just focusing on right now, the present moment. I don't
Hmm.
want to get too far ahead, but I don't want to leave any tables turned. I just want to dot my T's and cross my I's with this thing. So I just want to make sure we win as many games and I can be the best I can be on the floor every single night. So
I know Coach Muss obviously knows what he's doing in terms of getting guys to the NBA. We've seen that since he's got to Arkansas. We've seen that when he's at Nevada with the Twins.
yeah.
As you've got through some practices and seen him coach a little bit, been around him, how does he do it? How does he keep getting these guys ready for the NBA level?
um, I mean, really everything. I want to say what he doesn't do, but he does. He does everything. I mean,
Mm,
when it comes to just being even that simple as getting ready for an NBA interview, you're prepared.
mm,
If it comes to working out or how to work out, you're prepared for
mm,
it. If it comes to NBA principles on defense, you're prepared for it. If it comes to how to respond, you're prepared for it. If it comes to mental toughness, you're prepared for
mm,
it. I can't give coach enough credit. People I've talked to when they find out I went to Arkansas, they're like, "Oh, if you can handle Coach Munch, you can play anywhere. You can play in the NBA. You can deal with Coach Munch." So, I mean, that just shows you the caliber, a level of himself and his coaching staff. Um, there's a lot of dedicated people here. Every day I wake up, I'm blessed to be able to walk inside that gym and call myself a Razorback. I'm blessed to have these fans that put so much into the program as well, um, alumni as well. So I mean, Coach Mush he gets everybody prepared, and as a leader, I look at him as a leader of all this. Um, I think it starts from the top guy and it trickles down.
mm.
And don't get it twisted, Coach Musk works out just as much as anybody. Coach Musk would be up running a treadmill, running 5 miles at 5 a.m.
For real?
Yeah, 5 a.m. like 5 miles. By the time I get in, he's already lifting, goes straight to practice, practices hard. Everybody knows how intense he is. And
Hmm.
then after practice, I be getting shots up. He's in there working out again on the treadmill, writing out notes, prepared, and just preparing for whatever's coming. So yeah,
Was you saying Coach Muss be working out 2, 3 times a day potentially?
easy,
That's crazy.
easy, easy.
Well, man, I got one last thing I want to ask you about because when you step foot in that home arena, Bud Walton Arena, we know that place can get crazy. We know the atmosphere is one of a kind. We know that there's not many fan bases I would put above Arkansas in terms of how crazy they are. They're right there in the top tier group. It's going to be rocky. It's going to be crazy. How excited are you to be able to step foot on that arena, be playing in front of those great fans, and just rock out as an Arkansas Razorback?
I can't even put it into words, man. It's a dream.
Mm,
That's why every single time I think about it, which is really every single day, it makes me work that much harder. It makes me when I don't feel like it, when my body's sore, it makes me go back to the gym and put some extra shots up. Because ultimately, I don't want to let the fan base down. I know that I have some expectations being here that I'm excited about.
mm-hmm,
Um, but I just want the fans to know, and want everybody to know that's watching me and supporting me that I'm going to give this fan base everything I have, and I just ask for it back. Just support. It's going to be good days. Hopefully, great days. A lot of great days, and there's going to be some days where that ain't so great. On
mm-hmm.
a shooting end or maybe as a team or whatever the case may be. But just know we working hard. The whole team is working hard. Coach Musk works extremely hard, and we're not expecting less than great. So that's really what we're all looking forward to. I don't want to just put myself in that category. I know I'm definitely working hard, and I don't want to say too much. I kind of want everybody to see it,
Mm.
but as a team, definitely working hard. And Coach Musk and the rest of the coaching staff, the coaches, the GAs, the managers, they do an exceptional job as well. So everybody's looking forward to playing in Budwell and how that place rocking. Definitely have some big games and win as many games as we can.
Absolutely. Caleb, I appreciate taking time to come on today, man. I cannot wait to see what God's got in store for you this upcoming season and maybe even 2 seasons, whatever you got out there at Arkansas, man. And keep being the light, brother. Of
Appreciate you, bro. God bless. Appreciate you.
course, you're always welcome on, man. God bless you too, man.